Hi, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about creativity and deep work. So if you're interested in learning more about that, stick around. So when we talk about deep work, I really mean it takes a lot of focus in order to create something that's truly creative or to pull something out of you that's deep inside you, that you've always wanted to. And nowadays with television and screen addiction and every distraction under the sun happening all the time, deep work is pretty much more important than ever. And before we go into deep work, I'm going to tell just a little story about myself. Growing up, I always was very ambitious, and I would always run, head first into everything, and I would have full intention of manifesting and pulling, this great project out of me. And then I would get distracted, shiny object syndrome. I'm sure everyone has had their fair share of shiny object syndrome, where you start on a project, you're really ambitious about it and you're excited, and then you just get distracted by the next project, and then you believe in that project and you start that, and then you never end up finishing anything. And what I've learned over the years is that the best thing to do is deep work. And deep work really is even more powerful than people think, because now this is a little philosophical and just a little out there, but we're talking about creativity, so I'd probably talk about some out there stuff. But the truth is that every thought that we have has power to it, and they've proven this with scientists and all sorts of stuff. You hook yourself up to an MRI, and every thought that you have changes the way your body is functioning, changes the chemicals inside your body. When you have positive and good thoughts, the chemicals in your body change, and then when the chemicals in your body change, your environment changes. And when you change, and then you change your environment, and thus every thought that you have really has power to it, has potential, and it has has energy. There's energy always flowing through you, and every idea that you have has energy. And there's a certain point where once you put enough energy into something, that it manifests. It's like the freeze point, at 32 degrees. As soon as it hits that degrees, it freezes. There's the same sort of thing as if you put enough energy and enough thought into a single idea or a single thing, it manifests. And that's how everything works, really. And it's really crazy. So what I've found is that if every single one of our thoughts has power, then we have to really be able to control our thoughts. We have to be able to go inside, and we have to silence all the nonsense. Because a lot of people, if you start a business and the whole time you're worrying about money, that means that you're putting the energy into worrying about money, and you're not putting the energy into your business. So, and this is why so many people fail at stuff, or they don't know why, and it's also why things take a lot longer. So when you're doing deep work, now let's talk about deep work. Deep work essentially is when you cancel out all distractions. When you go to work, you turn off your computer, you put in your headphones, and you just focus on one thing and one thing only for as long as you possibly can. And then you take breaks, obviously, because you want to stay refreshed. But it's just about having no distractions between you and your work. And whenever I do this in my life, I can pull out some amazing work, my best work. It has to become a principle and a practice in your life. And I don't care if you don't have a project that you can work on. It's good just to practice deep work. Try writing one day. Turn off your phone if you're on your computer, put it on airplane mode, and just have one screen open, and that is your one focus. And you just have to see what happens, and you have to play with it. It's actually hard, and especially nowadays, because I'm not saying it's hard to discourage you, but I'm just saying it's hard to really focus, but once you do it, it's like a muscle that you can build over and over and over and over, and then you'll actually be able to do things. You'll actually be able to focus. You'll actually be able to pull this deep buried stuff that you have inside of you out, and you're not able to do that if you're distracted, and you're not able to do that if you're half-assing it, because if you just half-ass your work, you're going to get a half-ass life, and nobody wants that. You have to be able to focus, and that's what deep work is all about. So you shut off your computer, you shut off lights. I actually sometimes just put in earplugs, and I just listen to the silence of my work so that I can hear my thoughts and I work with my thoughts, and I just go into my work, and I just focus. And that's what deep work is all about. It's having, you know, one task at hand, or it could be many tasks, but it could just be one specific thing that you're focusing on without distraction. And that's how you're going to be able to truly pull a lot of creativity out of yourself too, because you're not going to have the other distractions of the world to blind you from your work, you know, and the task at hand. And you're really going to be able to focus, you know. We haven't necessarily gone into like the full creative process, but what we are talking about is how to work, you know, and how to be someone that is creative. People think that creativity is, you know, fancy colors and exploding paints, but it's really just a lot of work and a lot of practice and a lot of, you know, determination. But that's what it takes in order to invent something new, or in order to hear what the thoughts that are going to change your life, you know, to understand yourself. And it's very opposite of what everyone's doing. Everyone thinks that you should be doing 10 things at once, when in reality the market is flipped, and you should be working on yourself. You should be working on your product. You should be working on your skills that you're going to be taking to the market, because while everyone else is working on 100 different things and not going anywhere, you could be that one person that's digging and digging and digging and digging and digging until you hit gold, you know? I like the groundhog metaphor, where the foxes, they go everywhere and they burrow in every hole, whereas groundhogs just dig in their one spot, and they dig and they dig and they dig, and they have massive cities, you know, the groundhog way. It's good to find like one subject or have one project at a time, and then be able to do deep work where you have no distraction, and you do it every single day, and you work it out like a muscle. And then you'll be able to find that you'll be able to focus on tasks much better, and you'll be able to truly build a life that you think is going to be the one. So deep work is just so important. I can't emphasize it enough. I just wish that you would do it, and you would try it, and you would compare it to your other stuff that you do, you know, compare like going and taking your work seriously. I think that's what it is, because when you take your work seriously, your work becomes serious, and serious work can change your life. And I feel like work might not even be the best word, but it's like focus. Serious focus will be able to pull, you know, and manifest what you truly want from this life into reality. It's not going to, you're like, I was talking about creativity, but it actually, you have to make something to be a creative person. You actually have to follow through and finish what you start, and you have to make something real. It can't just be a flammy idea and that's your creative juice. That's just imagination, and everybody has an imagination, and that's the first step in creativity. That's just the first step. You still have to make the thing. You still have to make it happen. So the practice today is just practice deep work. Turn off, you know, the TV, turn off your phone, and just have one focus with no noise, and just see how you can get lost in your work, and see what happens when you do that, and see how much better it is, or how hard it is, you know, and then try it again the next day. And then I recommend even journaling about it. And I think that's it. Thank you.